On to item 5, which is, I guess we'll turn it over to Aaron. Aaron, do you want to start? Aaron has done a tremendous amount of work on that.
Sure, I can, once it was decided to put together a process or be able to review a process of how to review applicants and applications for the general manager position, been doing some research on that, contacting, well, what we had from the last time that the general manager was hired, reviewed some of the documents that we had, updated anything there, provided that there should be some in the back there for any of the public that would like to see some of those that we provided into the board. Some of that was a kind of a pre-screening application for when the applicants first come in to be able to look at. Again, kind of based on what Mr. Ball was saying, tallying with points, and to kind of set apart different applicants that were above the rest. But again, it's just an example of what could be for the board to decide and to weigh if that's something we would like. There's a handful of documents that we had. Pool pack also provided a document kind of assessing a matrix to use to value what the applicant offers. But yeah, so some of the questions that were used for the prior to, there was a pre-screening of the applicants, and then was followed by a telephone interview of the best pre-screened applicants, and then after that was followed by an actual on-site personal interview of those best applicants. It's kind of what happened the last time, and so that's some of the documents that are provided is similar to that.
What is the direction you want us to give you with it, or if any?
I guess it would be, what process, I mean, these documents that were provided is to hopefully assist you and be able to discuss this and,
Yeah.
and then direct staff of how you would like to review these applicants that have been submitting their applications.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
I looked into it quite a bit. I appreciate all the work Aaron's done. I've actually, the first thing I think we probably need to decide is if we're going to solicit people from the community to help. Personally, I believe we should, and this is the application the city used. I think we should do something like it, where we request, make it known publicly that we're looking for people to fill the board. I personally have thought about it. I think that maybe three people from the public.
Citizens?
Yeah. That
Along
we pick from the applications,
okay.
and ask them to help. I think the process can probably be broken down into pre-screen, which I think Mary and Aaron could probably pre-screen, personally. They could go through and
So
see.
you're talking about after we picked the applicant?
I'm talking about, we send this out to the public, and we ask for
Interested.
yeah, we pick 3 people from there. But my point, I guess the pre-screen is, I don't think we really need anybody but Mary and Aaron could probably look over the resumes and make sure whether or not they fit the criteria.
Okay.
And they could probably screen those.
Do we need to say how many applicants are we gonna?
No, I think once they screen it, then we'll come out. What, the pre-screen is basically anybody that doesn't fit the qualifications.
Okay, all right.
And actually, and if we wanted to, I even thought if we have the 3 people from the public go through after Mary and Aaron and pre-screen them just to verify
Okay.
that all the people have been pre-screened, should have been pre-screened. That might be a good safeguard. After that, we go to, basically, we have all the candidates fit the qualifications. We set up the matrix or the grading sheet, whatever you want to call it, and then we go to a committee and have them grade all of the yeah, maybe involve the telephone. I don't know. I guess that's what we're discussing now. And I don't know who'd make up that committee, if we'd have a couple board members, the 3 people from the community, Aaron and Mary, and go through and assess basically grade them and see who qualifies to be interviewed.
Mary, do you remember how we how we got to the point of the telephone interviews last time?
Pete and I went through applications,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then we had so many for telephone interviews.
Didn't
And
we,
we had 2 board members, I believe.
because I know that I read
And
all
I-
the applications that had met the pre-screening.
Right.
And then we went through all those and kind of picked out the top 10 or whatever that we felt, and then we got together on those, and then you and Pete had made the telephone interviews, if I remember correctly.
I thought 2 board members were in that also. I thought
Yeah,
we were,
I was there.
was it you and Mark?
So during that telephone interview, did you grade them? Is that when you actually graded them?
There were certain
Did you grade them
questions.
prior to the telephone interviews?
They were, the pre-screening was first. Go through the applications. That's who was decided who to have telephone interviews
Okay.
first. And then there were telephone, and then there was questions only asked. Every person was asked the same thing for the telephone questions that are in here.
Which is also in that packet.
I saw the question.
And then from that point, they were, graded.
How far did that narrow it down?
The telephone, I believe we had like 10, and then we narrowed it down to 3, and we only had 2 that showed up for interviews, personal. And we had panels with all board members in 3 different rooms, so there wasn't a quorum. Bo, myself, Pete,
Did we involve anybody from
and
the
David
public?
Callahan, or was it Callahan?
Yeah.
Mike Callahan from
The
the
former
city.
governor?
No.
No.
Also
Yeah,
from the
well,
city, they helped
HR
out.
manager.
HR.
But we didn't have any public,
No, we didn't have in public last time.
Okay, so I guess what we need to do is, if we're gonna do this, we need to send that would be one of our things that we need to do.
Well, I mean, that's just, I'm just discussing it, I don't know, I mean, let's decide how we wanna do it, I mean.
Well, one of the things that has to happen is that, when you get down to the final one and you have the groups put together, you have to have specific questions that each one of the groups has,
Right.
those set of questions,
Right.
there could be several of them, as David Baldwin brought out.
Right.
So that needs to be done.
Well, the other thing I wanna recommend too is that we have, I talked with the city, I think we need to have background checks done on all the finalists. I'd recommend that.
We did do stuff that we could
Yeah.
do after that, but I mean, we gotta get to that point first.
You did do background checks through the police department?
No, they won't do those.
That's not what I was told, but.
I think you have to hire it,
You have to hire some, the city can do their own because they, police department works for them, but they won't do ours.
Do
We
you
got
know,
both.
do you know anything about that, Carl?
I think that's correct. The thing is, though, they could sign up for a gun permit at the same time, and then
Here, fill out this application for a carrier permit.
no, I don't think they will. Seems like,
But-
I think you're correct.
Right.
Yeah, it seems I read somewhere, we have to have it hired out. And there's several firms that do that.
Might be worth it.
They anywhere up to thousands
I
of
mean,
dollars.
we did reference checks and employment verifications and stuff like that that we could do here, but as far as the actual background checks, they couldn't do.
Why don't you look into that, Aaron, see what that,
What services are available for
yeah,
doing background checks.
yeah. Maybe talk to the city of Mesquite, see if, you're saying the police won't do it because they can't, or because they're not willing to?
They won't do it because there's so many different employers or whatever that would want them to do it. They only do it for the city because they're part of the city.
The deal I read
I
on
don't
it,
think they're set up to charge for it is the problem, so they just matter how much workload they can take on just to do those. Just call Chief Tanner and
I think I would be more comfortable with an outside agency doing it.
yeah, well, I mean, the reason to call Chief Tanner is he would
Well, I
give you
mean,
names of those people that do them.
I'm talking about running a background check with Interpol, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you need to hire a firm to do that, if the police department do it, maybe not, let's look into that though.
are some basic things. you
Just
wanna
met with
check.
that.
Is the board a subdivision of county government?
We're subdivision of state.
Okay.
So are you
So you
thinking
think of
that-
Metro?
Call the highway patrol.
Maybe we can get the highway
Yeah,
patrol
do
to
you
do
think we
background
can call the
checks.
highway patrol? Worth a try, I guess, huh?
Clark County Sheriff's Office, if you were
Yeah.
an entity of the county.
County, the Metro part. We'll do it.
They may have a fee structure set up for background checks. So
That's a good point.
But You'll
When
find
I
out.
called the Attorney General over something else, they wouldn't, now that I think about it, they said, no, you gotta deal with Clark County. I said, but we're a state organization. Said they couldn't help, that was over a criminal complaint. They said, had to deal with Clark County. Does that make sense? Maybe she didn't want to talk to me.
It sounds vaguely familiar that when we did the interview process last time, we asked the city for a background check and they declined to do it. And it would seem to make sense to me that a city would probably decline doing that for a variety of reasons. One is they're not in the business of doing that. Number two, liability and, you know, using public resources. But, I mean, I think where it becomes a possibility with some agencies that we are a political subdivision of the state of Nevada, so there may be some resource out there that we could use to do it. And overall, I think it's an excellent idea. I think it should be done.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's definitely gotta be.
maybe Homeland Security would do it, we're dealing with water supply here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we got Lincoln
So
County down here.
No, we have specific protocols that we have to put in place and things because of that. Right?
Just a suggestion, there are places that you can go, you can look them up on the internet, and like US Identity and things like that, you pay a nominal fee of $50, $60, $70, and you have full access. You type in their name, they give you criminal records, they give you anything that is public information, you can find out on people. I've used it, and it's pretty effective.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
And they actually have different tiers of that. You can go minor to,
Yeah, you can go from
So-
$50,000 to $50,000.
That's just a suggestion.